Hi, I am Kathy from Kathy's Corner, and today we're going to make spaghetti sauce. As I was growing up, my mom has always made her homemade spaghetti sauce, and she's always been like, Kathy, you should be making your own spaghetti sauce. It's cheaper, it tastes better, and I'm like, no way. I have 5 kids. I don't have time to make spaghetti sauce. Now my kids are, 18 to 25, and do you believe it? This summer I started making spaghetti sauce, and let me tell you, it is not that hard. Don't be like me. I would talk myself out of it. Oh, it's too hard. I don't have the time. You can do this. And I want to be here encouraging you, saying, you can do it. You can do it. This is easy. To begin with, I don't make mine so far with the canned tomatoes, the crushed tomatoes, the tomato sauce, because we have a little garden, and we do not have a lot of land. We just have a little backyard, and my husband planted for me 3 Roma tomato plants. And so I just started making my sauce with my Roma tomatoes, and it has turned out great. Use some tomatoes from your backyard, or you can always fill in with crushed tomatoes and tomato sauce when you don't have fresh tomatoes available. I want to encourage you that you can do this. I thought of some helpful hints, one being be organized. If you are organized before you start this process, this is a cinch. You're going to be able to do this, and you're going to be so proud of yourself for doing this, and it's going to taste fabulous. Second of all, I was thinking if you're a mom with young kids, perhaps having a friend come over and joining you with this process, or if not, can you trade off babysitting? Say, hey, can you keep my kids while I make some spaghetti sauce, and then I'll keep your kids while you do whatever. Or how about grandma? Can they go over to grandma's house so you can get this done? Give it a try. There's all different possibilities. So let's get started. Now I wanted to show you how I'm set up. So here I have my colander filled with my Roma tomatoes, and my plants are just about done. We've had a lot of rain, so my tomatoes are going bad, so that's another reason why I wanted to show this to you today. And then I also, if I have, my husband planted early girls and some other tomatoes, and some of them, get bad spots on them, but I just use them along with my Roma tomatoes. All I do is just cut off where the stem attached, and what I'm going to do is what you call blanching. So I have my tomatoes ready to go, and then over here on the stove is my stock pot, and I am going to bring this to a boil, and then what I will do is put the tomatoes in my stock pot, and they only need to boil for a couple minutes. To have cold water, I'm going to add some more, and I usually dump about a cup of ice in there just to make this cold, so that when you put the boiling tomatoes, tomatoes that have been boiled, into this water, the skins come out and off super easy. And I read somewhere that if you leave the skins on, it tends to make the spaghetti sauce bitter. I don't know about that. I've just always blanched the tomatoes. It just takes a few minutes. So that's our first step. And now you can see I've added my ice cubes just to make that water a little bit colder. So you just let that sit, and next to the stock pot, I have my pan. This is what I'm going to cook my spaghetti sauce in. And on the counter here, I've just lined up everything, all the spices that I'm going to put in my sauce. I have my measuring spoons ready to go. I have my 5 cloves of garlic. I have my garlic press, and just making sure I am prepared. On my island, I have my food processor. It is all set to go. I just have a small one, so I have to do a couple rounds with the tomatoes. This is what I use to chop up my tomatoes for my sauce. Now, while I am waiting for this water to start boiling, in my pan, I put in 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, and then I minced up my 5 cloves of garlic. And I'm just going to turn this on to medium heat. You just want this garlic to get fragrant. You do not want it to brown. You just want it to get nice and fragrant. And I like to get that sort of going while I am blanching these tomatoes, just so that once the tomatoes are blanched, I put them in the food processor. And then as I'm processing the tomatoes, I can just quickly put them right here in the pan with the olive oil and the minced garlic. What I did is I turned the burner off, and I'll just let that sit. And as you can see, we are about ready to rock and roll here. My water is just about ready to boil. So I'm going to put my tomatoes in the water, and then we will get started. Okay, now it's been about 3 minutes, and I want you to look at these tomatoes. You can see it's just about time when the skins will just start peeling off themselves. So what I'm going to do is just ladle up the tomatoes, and then I just carefully just put them into the ice water bath, cold water bath. So I'm just keep doing this until I'm all finished with the tomatoes that are in the stock pot. Now here are the tomatoes in the water bath, and you can see how easily, look, with one hand I can just take that skin off, and I just give them a little squeeze just to get the excess juice out. And then what I'm doing is just putting them here in my food processor. Now, of course, these first several steps you are only doing if you're using fresh tomatoes. If you're using canned tomatoes, you know, you don't even have to think about doing this process. But I just wanted to show you how easily those skins come right off, and just put them right into the food processor. And then my food processor is very small, so I'll do a couple rounds with it. But I'm just going to give these tomatoes just a couple whirls on pulse, and we will be all set to put the spaghetti sauce together. And here I am getting ready to pulse my last batch of my tomatoes in my food processor. And literally, this has taken me at the most 7 minutes to go from the raw tomatoes to the blanched tomatoes, taking the skins off, and now just throwing them in the food processor to put into my pot. And as you can see here, Here are the other ones that I've already put into the pot with the olive oil and the minced garlic. And again, this is only if you're using fresh tomatoes. I mean, as you'll see, the spaghetti sauce itself will come together really quickly. Well, I want to give a shout out to Bet. I have taken 2 of her recipes and sort of combined them to make this spaghetti sauce. She has a blog that's called Bet on Dinner. Check her out. Her recipes are awesome. I have my fresh tomatoes in my pan. Then we're going to use 12 ounces of tomato paste. So I'm just going to add that into my pan now. So now we're ready to add our seasoning. So to my tomato sauce with the tomato paste in it, we already have added the olive oil and garlic. To that, I have added a tablespoon of salt. I have added 3 teaspoons of sugar. My family tends to like a sweeter sauce. I've added 2 tablespoons of dried parsley, 2 teaspoons of dried basil, a teaspoon and a half of dried oregano, a half a teaspoon of pepper, and a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. And if you like some more heat, you know, you can adjust accordingly. So then once you have everything in your sauce, just go ahead and give that a stir to get everything incorporated. What I usually do is just get a spoon and take a little taste test and see what you think. I actually put a little more sugar in ours. Like I said, our family loves a sweeter sauce. Or, you know, if yours likes it a little hotter, you know, put more red pepper flakes in. So this is just such a nice recipe to be able to make it suitable for your family. The other thing I wanted to say is that you can also add 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds of ground beef browned to this to make it a meat sauce. My family especially loves mild Italian sausage. So what I've done is just added mild Italian sausage to our sauce. And I'm gonna let this sauce just simmer for an hour to an hour and a half uncovered, and that is it. That is all there is to spaghetti sauce. Once mine is finished simmering, I will put mine into gallon-size freezer bags, and you don't even have to can. All you have to do is just scoop this up into the freezer bag, put it right in your freezer. I date it with a Sharpie, and you are set. Easy peasy. Do not let talk yourself out of this like I did for years and years. This is so easy. It is so much more nutritious and healthy for your family, and you can do this. And there you go. You did it. Congratulations. Give yourself a happy dance. You did it. Thanks for joining me today, and come back soon and I'll have more on Kathy's Corners DIYs. Bye.